let's talk about death. Something more fun.
Fun.
You know what I mean? How does it make you feel talking about death?
I'm not ready to die.
No.
And I think that, but it's interesting because I have this friend of Russian descent, and I just love her. We talk about stuff, and we get really like upset about things, right? And then we're going back and forth, and then finally we just look at each other, right? And we just say, really? Does it really matter? Like, okay, and so what's the worst case scenario? We'll die. And we crack up laughing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's a lot of things that we do not know about death.
Yes.
And people say, oh, you know, some people say they've been there, they've come back, and whatever you want to believe, whatever floats your boat. Personally, I just feel like I don't know what's going to happen after we die.
That is fair.
You know, and also, who's to say that this is the greatest place to be? You know, because this is a very dense place to be. I mean, even the oxygen that we breathe is killing us. If you take an apple and leave it somewhere, after you've bitten it, it starts to turn brown. That's the oxygen decaying that apple. And so we need oxygen to live. And at the same time, it is making us old. You know?
Oh.
So what is this place? So and really, like, where have we been? Where are we going? Can anybody really answer that question? Okay. And so I think laughter, when laughter comes in, when you're talking about dying, I think that's the place to be.
Absolutely.
You know, just be there. It's just the way we die. You know, that's scary.
Yeah.
You know, like, God forbid, and yes, the universe forbid, whatever. When I see those people falling off from the buildings in 9/11, that just, you know, but then I think the body goes into shock. Yeah. The body goes into shock. Yeah. And you know, so if anything horrible would happen, you'd want the body to go into shock. You know? But at the same time, it's like maybe, you know, I think for a lot of people, the death signifies suffering. And well, we've had a life of suffering. And you know, if people haven't suffered through their life, they may suffer through dying, or it may be done quick, you know, and that would be great. Like some people have, it's just so many different ways of dying. Okay, I don't know if your brother's going to bring this up, and it's great, you know, if he does, I hope he does. But he taught me something from when he was very young, because at 4 he was talking about dying. Oh, Mama, you're going to die. I can't listen to that song. And then when I hear that song and you're dead, I'm going to be so sad. And it's like, and I would say, like, where is this child coming from? And I'd say to him, listen, honey, why don't we think about living? Let's not think about dying. Let's think about living. Then he was 4. And then around 15, I'll never forget this. We were walking along the street, and he said, you know, I think I finally figured it out. And he said, about dying. And I said, really? So he said, I think everybody's doing it, so it must be okay. Okay. Like, really? You know, I don't know if he would say that on a podcast with you, but I had to say it because it made such an impression on me, and that's what small children do. Okay, you know, they make such an impression on you, and so that really
they're so innocent with what they say, and they're honest, right? That's the one thing about being around kids is that, like, you know, talking with
well, they haven't been indoctrinated yet.
Yeah, talking with with Kyle, obviously my friend Kyle's kid. He's great. Just talking to him at a barbecue once, I was like, wow, it's been so long since I've talked to a kid, I guess. Yeah. And I forgot that, like, really, they're just, like, straightforward, honest. Yes. You know, a lot of the time, like, they're not trying to impress with what they're saying. It's not like a conversation you have with someone at a bar. It was just like, this is great. Talking about everything from school,
it's so
life.
Raw. So in your face.
Yeah, it was someone tried to come in and talk with us. We kind of looked at them. They weren't really keeping up, so we just kept on talking. And it was hilarious. I'd like to have him on a podcast sometime. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh, that would be wonderful.
Right. Okay, all right.
He's a beautiful child.
He is.
I really love him.
You have an afterlife. How do you feel about that? What do you think happens when you die?
Well,
what comes to mind?
It's really interesting you asked that, because right now I'm really getting into now, and doing what I need to do, and hopefully that will.
I agree. That's much more important. Yes. Much more important than having your mindset in now and not what happens after. Sure, exactly. But like, how about this?
No. I have an answer.
Okay.
So the thing is that I can't go back and look at past lives anymore. I'm just not into it. You know, I kind of entertained that for a bit, you know, and it was interesting, but I can't go back there. I'm not interested in that. And then when I think about what happens after we die, well, I don't know. And I don't often say I don't know, because I think deep down inside we know everything. But it's just, I'm here now. And I'm really beginning to realize how important it is to do what we need to do now. Yes.
Okay.
Because we started talking quite some time ago, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're here now.
Enjoy the now. But heaven and hell, though. Heaven and hell. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the idea of heaven and hell?
Well,
because bring back to religion and the idea of if you do believe in a God, perhaps, or whatnot, do you believe in what organized religion calls a heaven and hell?
I think what I've learned from everything that I've studied is that, and I was raised a Roman Catholic, so there's heaven and hell, and a lot of what you do is based on that, but you still do bad things, and then you go to church and they forgive you, and then you go out and do it again. But I think now I realize that in some ways, right here and now, it is heaven and hell. Okay, so this is how I feel about it, is that I don't know if there's a heaven and hell. I know that my childhood was based on that, and that you didn't do things because you wouldn't go to heaven, but you did bad things anyway. And then you go to church, and they forgive you. You say your, whatever, those prayers, they give you so many prayers and Hail Marys and Our Fathers, and then you come out and you're refreshed, and you just go back and do the same bullshit again. You do the same mistakes again, and you hurt people, and you do all this stuff. So it's interesting. I'd like to bring something up, because I have a friend who said to me that when they were young girls, they're twins, and she said to me her mother used to tell her a story, both of them a story, and it went like this. So you're up in heaven, okay, and you prepare yourself and you come down to earth, and then while you're here, some people do horrible things. They kill and they do terrible things and hurt people, and then other people love and they show kindness but you do things to each other, okay? So when it's all said and done, you go back up to heaven and you shake hands and say, "Well, job well done." I just love that for years. It would make me laugh and make me so happy.
Okay.
So now, having said that, I feel that heaven and hell is here. On earth. Okay. And I feel that my belief right now is such that I don't entertain other things so much, and that I'm learning. Like, we never really stop learning. We don't, and I feel that there's something I was getting to and I lost it again. But it's that thing about being here, and it's heaven and hell here on earth. And I think that we're responsible for our actions.
I think absolutely as well.
Yes,
yeah.
There's one thing that was really important to me was karma.
Okay.
Karma. Oh, it's karma. And then I think, wait a second. But I read something years ago that was just absolutely wonderful, because and I wish I could quote who it was, but it was just, I think it was an article, and I was reading through it, and they said that people that look at karma. Okay, you look at it in this way, that whatever you do in this life, you'll come back and suffer because of it. But it's not. I don't believe it's that way. It could be another way as well. And what I like to believe, okay, is that we do something in this life, okay, and what we do, like, for example, what we do to another person, that is our karma. What another person does to us, to hurt us, to do all those things, that's not our karma. That is their karma. Okay? So then what happens is, when you go through it that way, you realize that it's going to come back. And it may not necessarily come back in another life. Because maybe this is all there is. And this is where we work out our karma right here. So if you're doing something to someone that is not okay, then you better be prepared that somewhere in life, something will happen to you in a different form. It's not going to be exactly the same. And most people don't recognize it. Like, why did this happen to you? Well, what did you do in the past? Did you ever make someone feel that way? Did you ever affect someone in that way? Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
and
so
I also
tend to believe that more than looking at afterlife.
Well, exactly. Let me touch back on that. I will
here.
completely agree with the whole idea of this being heaven and hell. Not completely agree again, but I do agree with this being,
you can entertain that,
headheaven or hell here, and what you make it. It is what you make it, right? You can look around and you can see, this is a hell for many people, as you can look around and see that's a heaven for many people. Yeah. And for yourself in life, you know,
and it's both,
there are those who will blame their surroundings for their current life, or you'll have those who take responsibility and push themselves forward.